Greetings. Dr. Kathy here, your social research scientist and redemptive change agent, covering the world of creditworthiness, that is, credit scoring systems and financial wellness, and its impact on individuals, family, and society, with a passion to make a difference in this and future generations. This video continues the series on creditworthiness and types of well being as applied to individuals and families. And as a reminder, the general notion of well being is defined as the health, happiness, and fortunes of a person or group, the state of being free from illness or injury, and/or the state of being happy, satisfied, or content. Research and education on financial well being are important for individuals, households, and societies. Today, we are looking at how creditworthiness relates to population groups in general. Population groups refer to the group or groups to which a person belongs based on one or more common factors such as age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, and geographic location. Research tells us there are three characteristics that can significantly impact attitudes toward and decisions about money. These are culture, sociocultural context, and demographic characteristics. These characteristics or traits that share common denominators can and do impact financial practices and behaviors. For example, some groups generally make purchases primarily using only cash. Other population groups may use cash and checks, while some use cash app services and others primarily make credit card purchases only. For others, of course, many may engage in a combination of these behaviors. Now, let's break down these three characteristics. Culture refers to the ways people view or see the world and is made up of what can be observed in one's daily life, the values, the beliefs, the communication, and practices that people share in common. One's culture is key as a culture's norms and practices provide the guidelines for everyday living and are passed on from one generation to the next. For instance, speaking within the context of creditworthiness, families sharing, living with, and guided by the framework of generational property share a common culture, as do those with generational wealth. Let's take a fairly simple example. Transportation is an essential basic needs in the lives of Americans and many cultures throughout the world. If one relies on owning a vehicle rather than relying, say, on a friend or family member or public transportation, and the vehicle breaks down, then we're stranded. With low income populations, one most likely reaches out to people within their network or social group who have the mechanical or technical skills, the norms of my culture, or their culture in this case, who will most likely make the repairs for free or only the cost of parts. On the other hand, the solution for the middle class may be make an appointment and get the vehicle to a shop, whereas the upper class may have a staff that takes care of the vehicles. Socioculture factors include social values and classes, religious beliefs, business practices, general money management, and wealth distribution, and behaviors and attitudes towards family and work. For example, and can include buying habits and beliefs about education, poverty, racism, inequality, and other issues that impact communities and society. Closely related to sociocultural factors are, of course, socioeconomic conditions. These are typically described as low, medium, and high, and refer more specifically to the combination of a person or group's education and income levels and type of employment. It is important to note that people having a lower socioeconomic status typically have less access to important resources. This fact cannot be overstated, and it is important to understand how creditworthiness affects access to resources for specific population groups. Specifically, there is often less access to basic needs and other resources such as educational, social, financial, and healthcare than for population groups with a medium or high socioeconomic status. For example, the impact of low socioeconomic conditions is severe for those that do not have the income to buffer or ride the storms related to health issues or access affordable housing and medical care. In short, while not addressing these in detail, socioeconomic status, also referred to SESs, includes critical factors such as employment, income, education levels, social support, and community safety. In this context, social support refers to the assistance of others within one's circle who can provide comfort and help with a variety of stressors from biological to psychological and social. Again, there is a relationship between these SES factors and a person's socioeconomic status. The third component that describes population groups is demographic, that is usually defined as statistics. Demographic analysis is informative and powerful in understanding the attributes and traits and behaviors of people groups based on specific criteria. These criteria or demographics include, but are not limited to, education, things like age, gender, marital status, education, occupation, income levels, ethnicity, and location, country, region, state. Bottom line, demographic profiles are established to understand population groups better, to understand common characteristics or trends that can improve services to better suit the needs of specific populations. Now, just briefly, I want to mention the relationship between population groups and financial practices and the association of such with the world of creditworthiness. Environmental and social conditions can and do affect the population's capacity to self-manage healthy behaviors. Let me emphasize this statement. For the world of creditworthiness, it is very important to understand that economic strains and stressors are attributed to lower self-health, self-efficacy behaviors. Now, by self-efficacy behaviors, I'm referring to a person's capacity, their belief in their own capacity or ability to engage in behaviors that promote social, psychological, or physical progress and outcomes in their life. For instance, hypothetically, a person who values and expects to benefit from eliminating fried foods from the diet will nonetheless continue eating fried foods if they lack the confidence that they can prepare and or be satisfied with eating non-fried foods, because we tend to engage in activities that we believe we can accomplish and avoid those for which we can achieve, we circumvent, we bypass and stay away from the actions, in this case eating healthy or at least non-fried foods. Staying with this analogy, population groups whose well-being is compromised due to low socioeconomic and creditworthiness status are at a significantly higher risk of achieving higher levels of self-efficacy, whether in housing, health, employment, education, or many of the other indicators of the higher socioeconomic statuses. Well, we've certainly covered much introductory information related to population groups, and it is a lot to process. Please join me in upcoming episodes in financial practices. Thank you for joining me.